When I wake up in the morning, love, the sunlight hurts my eyes. Something without warning, love, feels heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Yeah, I just wanna look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. A lovely day. When the way that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face, with someone else instead of me, oh, it seems to know the way. Then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Yeah, just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. A lovely Well, the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face. Someone else instead of me, oh, it seems to
And it is a lovely day and a lovely night, too. Now, I can't see all of you because of the bright lights and big city, but I know you're out there, and I really want to thank you for coming to Soulful Sundown tonight here at the UU congregation at Shelter Rock. I'm the Reverend Ned White, the interim senior minister here at the congregation, serving with Natalie Fenimore and with the Reverend Jennifer Brower, who many of you know is the usual customary leader here and is now on sabbatical. So lucky Jennifer is regathering her energy, and our job here is to keep the energy of Soulful Sundown going so that when she comes back, she is bowled over by how much energy we have built up in her absence. We're also lucky to have on our team Nancy Reed McKee, one of the two, who is our ministerial intern, and she's here if you haven't met her. Nancy, you want to gesticulate wildly? There she is in the front, gesticulating wildly. And tonight we are blessed by having a multi-talented guest service leader, Jalet Miller, whom you just heard on the, what's it called? Cajon. That's this box here, which is amazing.
It doubles as a seat.
I mean, we should all have one of those. This is totally great on the subway. He's a native of New York, grew up in the Unitarian Church of Hollis in Queens. Do we have any Queens people here tonight? Don't be shy, it's okay. He's the director of Original Blessing, which is a UU congregation founded in 2013 that's based in Brooklyn, New York. Any people from Brooklyn here? It's small but powerful. They hold services in the evening in partnership with First Unitarian Congregational Society that's in Brooklyn Heights. And we give him a warm welcome. I invite you to join me in a round of applause for welcoming Louis. See, the great thing, you get the round of applause even before you make a presentation. Isn't it fabulous? This is great. Awesome. Also, to acknowledge members of the Cosmic Orchestra. Erica Lee on vocals, Pat Falco on bass. Oh yeah, we can do it. Applause. Eugene Ruffalo, guitars, vocals. Mark Schulman, guitar. Ben Wish on keyboard. And the invincible, inevitable, indistinguishable, we run out of adjectives, Chris Marshak, who is the drummer and band leader. So as you know, those of you who have been to Soulful Sundown, you channeling Jennifer Brower, I'm going to invite you to sing and dance along tonight. Don't be constrained. It's very dark from where I sit, so nobody up here is going to know what you're doing. And the rest of you, just be nice to one another, if you will. And please, 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 please stay for our coffee house. Shane Alexander, all the way from Los Angeles, California. Shane, you want to gesticulate wildly there in the third row? All right. So you won't want to miss that. Please stay for that. So to get him going in yet another gifted talent department, I'm going to ask Louis to light our chalices tonight. In addition to, here he is even now, going over to his position. And our chalice lighting words are consistent with our theme of impermanence. Words from a song by Bernard Eigner, Everything Must Change. Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Everyone will change. No one stays the same. There are not many things in life one can be sure of, except rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, hummingbirds fly. Winter turns to spring, a wounded heart will heal. Oh, but never much too soon. No one and nothing goes unchanged. The young become the old, and mysteries do unfold, for that's the way of time. No one and nothing stays unchanged.
So I'd like to tell you guys a story. But first, I'd also like to share with you some brief words that I read the other day. I thought would be a good introduction. And that's how it starts. So, one day some people came to the master and asked, "How can you be happy in a world of such impermanence, where you cannot protect your loved ones from harm, illness, and death?" Before saying a word, their master motioned to a glass at his side. "Do you see this glass?" he asked us. "I love this glass. It holds the water admirably. When the sun shines on it, it reflects light beautifully. When I tap it, it has a lovely ring. Yet for me, this glass is already broken. When the wind knocks it over, or my elbow knocks it off the shelf and it falls to the ground and shatters, I'll say, of course. But when I understand that this glass is already broken, every minute with it is precious."
Down the street you can hear her scream, "You're a disgrace," as she slams the door in his drunken face. And now he stands outside, and all the neighbors start to gossip and drool. He cries, "Oh girl, you must be mad. What happened to the sweet love you and me had?" Against the door he leans and starts to sing, and all the dirt and the garden green. And so castles made of sand fall in the sea eventually. A little Indian brave who before he was 10 played war games of the woods with his Indian friends. And he built a dream that when he grew up he would be a fearless warrior, Indian chief. Many moons passed and more the dream grew strong, until tomorrow he would sing his first war song and fight his first battle. But something went wrong. Surprise attack killed him in his night. And so castles made of sand melts into the sea eventually. She drew, girl, her heart was a frown because she was crippled for life and she couldn't speak a sound. And she wished and prayed she could stop living, so she decided to die. She drew a wheelchair to the edge of the shore, and to her legs she smiled, "You won't hurt me no more." But then a sight she'd never seen made her smile and say, "Look, a golden ship is passing my way." And it really didn't have to stop. It just kept on going. And so castles made of sand slips into the sea eventually.
As I swiped my Metro card through the turnstile at Union Square, I could hear a familiar robotic voice from the platform below. This is a Brooklyn-bound Q train. The next stop is Canal Street. Like a greyhound after a phony white rabbit, I burst through the gates and down the stairs, only to see the train doors close right in my face. Was I late for something? No. Would another Q train come predictably along to ferry me home in another 5 minutes? Of course it would. Did the look on my face at that moment seem calm and indifferent to a mere 5-minute setback? What do you think? Luckily, I knew better than to stand and stare as my train faded into the distance, because I had a far more important and productive thing to do with my time. I had a smartphone, the ultimate distraction. Within seconds, I had thrown in my earbuds and queued up an episode of my favorite podcast. I stood and listened for a minute, but I wasn't fully satisfied with the simple auditory stimulation, so reflexively, I opened up my phone's web browser and began scanning the mother of all mindless security blankets, the Facebook. By the time the next Q train arrived, I was totally immersed in content, blissfully floating in the land of personalized distraction. I boarded the crowded train, holding my phone at a viewable height while hanging from the pole with the other, and I came upon a Facebook link that caught my fancy. It was an article about expert sculptors who'd taken up sandcastle building as a spiritual practice. They would create their massive and ornate structures just as the tide was out, only to watch as high tide returned and washed them away. I saw pictures of incredible detail and beauty. I saw artists standing by as the waves crashed and destroyed their creations, and I couldn't help but cringe. I got the point. I knew that these artists meant to cultivate non-attachment. I knew that they were practicing acceptance. I understood, at least intellectually, why they did it, but emotionally, some part of me, perhaps my inner New Yorker, was crying out in horror. No! It's just going to waste! All that time you spent, and you could have made something that you could use or something you could keep. Why? Why? Why was this article so disturbing to me? Why was it so hard for me to witness these artists working on their fleeting masterpieces?
Old man lying by the side of the road where the lorry is rolling by. It's only castles burning. Find someone who's turning, and you will come around. Old man lying by the side of the road where the lorry's rolling by. Blue moon sinking from the weight of the load, and the buildings scrape the sky. Cold wind ripping down the alley at dawn, and the morning paper flies. Dead man lying by the side of the road with the daylight in his eyes. Don't let it bring you down. It's only castles burning. Find someone who's turning, and you will come around. Don't let it bring you down. 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 It's only castles burning. Find someone who's turning, and you will come around.
So back to sandcastles on the Q train. I'd seen the pictures and I'd felt that piercing flash of dread. But of course, I escaped that momentary disturbance and dove right back into distraction. By now, I was well into my podcast, which was a show hosted by a comedian named Mark Maron. And in this episode, he was interviewing another comedian named J.B. Smoove, who is well known for his role as Leon on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Maybe you guys have seen it. I was enjoying the interview, but my craving for stimulation was overpowering. So I was also using my New York Times app to work on a crossword puzzle. Yes, the perfect commute. I was completely unaware of my surroundings, oblivious to any of my fellow passengers, contently wrapped in my blanket of content. But then something strange happened. I was struggling with this crossword puzzle. I was racking my brain to recall the answer to a certain clue. 38 across. It was 8 letters. Brand of machine that turns cash into vouchers, like change into vouchers. And I could remember seeing this machine. I could practically see the huge machine with the green logo, and the brand name had been on the tip of my tongue since I first read this clue the day before. But I just couldn't summon it forth, and this was epic frustration. Then something gave way. 31 down, 6 letters. Marching band sites, 4th letter O. Aha! Batons. And then there it was, the T from batons, knocked something loose, and I mouthed silently to myself, Coinstar. So here's the weird part. While I'd been struggling with that puzzle, J.B. Smoove had been chatting with Mark Maron in my earbuds, talking about how nobody uses pennies anymore, and in a moment of eerie convergence, just a split second after I mouthed Coinstar to myself, J.B. echoed the word Coinstar out loud in my ears. it happened so synchronously that at first I didn't notice. It was as if the crossword puzzle and the podcast were connected. But then a chill ran down my spine. What just happened? How astronomical are the odds that such an obscure reference to Coinstar would pop up in a podcast at the exact instant that it also occurred to me as a moment of puzzle-solving glory. I had that feeling you get when you think, well, something's watching or something's trying to communicate with me out there. So I tore out my earbuds and I looked up from my phone, and you know what I saw? I saw the sun, burning with color, crying out with urgent beauty over downtown Manhattan. I'd been so buried that I didn't even realize we were heading over the Manhattan Bridge. The sun was just now setting. The view was completely breathtaking, and a flush of emotion came over me. Gratitude for the preciousness of this moment, this unique and fleeting instant that would surely never come again, but also some shame and regret as I thought of myself fleeing from more and more entertaining distraction. And all the while, the world around me was a beautiful sandcastle slowly burning away. I watched the sunset for as long as I could, and then I was underground again.
Too blind to know you best, hurrying through the forks without regret. Different now, every step feels like a mile. All the lights seem to flash and pass you by. So, how's it gonna be when it all comes down to cycling triviality? You don't know which way to turn. Every trifle becoming big concern. All this time you were chasing a dream, without knowing what you wanted them to be. So how's it gonna be when it all comes down? You're cycling triviality. So how it's gonna be when it all comes down, recycling triviality. Who cares if 100 years from now, all the small steps and all your shitty clouds? Who cares if 100 years from now we'll remember all the players, we'll remember all the clowns? triviality. Cycling triviality. Cycling triviality. Cycling triviality. Cycling triviality. Cycling triviality. Cycling triviality.
We do live in a world of impermanence, of storms and fires and earthquakes that change everything for the people directly affected by them. In such a world, we may be thinking that the only thing we can do is to cycle trivialities. But then we notice that there are some other people and organizations which are a blessing in such a world. Organizations like Direct Relief that exist to reach out to the world's most vulnerable and at-risk populations wherever they may be. Here's a brief video about their life-saving work.
No one anticipated that when they went to bed that night that they were going to wake up to what we all woke up to.
A lot of people were sheltering in place.
It was really, really scary. It was probably the scariest hurricane I've ever been through because of the flooding.
My neighborhood was underwater for days.
We couldn't go get supplies, that supplies couldn't get to us. The preparedness packs from Direct Relief made all the difference.
We set up clinics immediately. We would definitely have problems if we didn't have Direct Relief. We would be short everything.
When the medicines come from Direct Relief, there are no costs. So those most vulnerable among us get to get their medications for free.
Without that, we definitely would have been lost.
I invite the ushers to come forward. Please be as generous as you can. You can make checks out to Direct Relief or to UUCSR with Direct Relief in the memo line.
getting close to the time to extinguish the chalice and wrap up our service. I hope you guys will join us at the coffee house. Look forward to meeting some of you guys, and if you have anything you'd like to share, say hello, then please do. Last month, at Original Blessings September service, I invited the congregation to share with me their answer to the question. Looking back on this year and a year ago, how do you find that your ways of thinking have changed? And one congregant's response has haunted me since. A woman named Frances spoke up and told us that even though she's always loved the summer, she'd struggled for most of her life to enjoy the season because she couldn't avoid her fear that it was slipping away and would soon be over. Right back to cold and dreary again. But, she said, somehow this year has been different. Something has shifted. I knew summer was only temporary, but instead of focusing on its imminent departure, I was able to be present. I was able to treasure these good times without clinging to them. Maybe Francis's story offers us some insight. Maybe it isn't so easy as just listening to a sermon and flipping a light switch in your soul. It took Frances almost 70 summers before she found poetry in Impermanence. 70 years of clinging to the days as they slipped away, before she did finally allow herself to dwell in the presence of beauty. Maybe we need to experience the pain of losing things we love in order to learn to love more fully. Maybe that's what I was missing as I read the article about the sandcastle builders. I imagined at the time that they were somehow immune to the stinging pain of grief as they watched their creations fade away. That they were able to switch off their sense of tragedy and just remove themselves from the emotional dimension altogether. But maybe I was wrong. Maybe they did feel grief as they watched the castles tumble. And the pain was the point. Maybe they were becoming more practiced at allowing those emotions to happen so that they could more easily open up and witness the beauty of creation itself. Maybe next time I miss my train, I'll watch it as it goes. Maybe next time the sun sets, I won't need a cosmic crossword coincidence to remind me to wake up and watch it burn.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, waking the words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be.
Our gratitude to the Cosmic Orchestra Band, to Louis, to all of you for your generosity in raising $542 for direct relief. And please join us for the coffee house in the social hall.